So, how is everybody? Cool. Let me turn up the volume on AV a little bit. AV, can you hear me okay? Awesome. So, this week is all about web development. How many people in here watched the webinars that I asked you to? Okay, a few. For the benefit of those who did not watch them, there's not much we can do right now before going over the material in those webinars. So I'm going to take the first part of class here to go through those webinars, and then we'll get teed up a little bit at the end of class for Wednesday, which we're going to spend the whole session just working on web development in an exercise in class here. So, before I forget, I sent everybody a copy of the following poster that I'm opening up right now. In addition to your website, I'd like you to make a poster talking a bit about your project and kind of using the web materials that you put together to put it into a poster format as well. This class is being featured in our college-wide service learning focus. So I need some posters of your projects to describe what we're doing in here for that service learning initiative. So after you've developed the websites, I'd also like you to plunk that information into this poster format here. It's just a PowerPoint format that if I enable editing here. PowerPoint format where you can remove various elements and replace them with some images and descriptions that are relevant for your project. You can just take out what's in here right now and replace it with a description of your project.
Is that the format that you want to see it?
I want to see it in this PowerPoint format.
Well, just the way that you have it set up right.
No, you can play anything below this header here. You can do whatever you want with.
We could do individual slides for each.
No, it's going to be a poster that's presented in a room, so it has to all fit on one slide. Got it?
Yeah.
So this looks like a PowerPoint slide, but when we print it, it's going to be printed out as big as those boards there. So it'll contain a bunch of information on it. It's not like a normal PowerPoint presentation. It's just one slide. Okay, so pulling up our webinars. This is going to be duplicative for those that, I think we got about 30 or 40 minutes worth of webinar to go through. So those of you who did diligently watch the webinars, you're welcome to take off for half hour, 45 minutes and come back. I don't want to bore you with stuff you've already gone over, but since most people in here have not watched these yet, we need to watch them first before we can do anything else with web development. So I'm going to do that first. Okay, section 50-55. Okay, the first one we want to go through is our Photoshop webinar.
Hello, everyone. This is my first attempt at one of many different webinars to break out the various details of the topics that I teach in entrepreneurship, small business management, and business strategy. So today's topic is graphic design, and
AV, can you hear okay over there too?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
in particular how to use Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and open up. This is what the icon for Photoshop looks like. If you don't have it already, you'll need to either install a free 30-day trial version, or you can rent, effectively, Photoshop and many other Adobe products from their cloud for about $19. So a lot of this functionality is exactly the same on Pixlr. So many of the things that I'm teaching in this particular webinar are the exact same things you need to do to use free Pixlr software as well. So what I want to do is put together a graphic. So the slide that I'm going to be going over in class today is focused on course materials. It's focused on customer acquisition and guerrilla marketing. So this is the big picture of what I want to go over, the entire topic of customer acquisition and guerrilla marketing in small businesses. This is how I would represent what we're going to go over in words. However, the phrase, a picture's worth 1,000 words is often very true. And this is what I actually want everyone to do for small business management and customer acquisition part of small business management. This is actually a visual representation. And if we go in and open that up, this is what it looks like. We have a bigger version on my website. I just put this whole graphic together over the weekend, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to illustrate to everybody how you put together a graphic like this. So the end result that we want to get to is that we have a website page that looks like this. Right now, we have a blank page that looks like this. So the first thing you need to do is open a new file. So you're going to go to File, New, and you can give it a name. We'll call this Customer Acquisition Example. And usually Photoshop as well as Pixlr will give you a default width and height for your project. This is going to be too small. We're probably going to want more. It's easier, I think, sometimes to think of inches. So if we change this to inches, this is 8.5 by very short. Okay, I had the opportunity to test one of the interesting things about webinars, which is that I can pause and start again as I'm recording. I visit the office hours right now. So I believe where I left off was width and height. The height here in inches is pretty small. I know that's not going to be enough. Let's just make this height an 8.5 by 11. A normal sheet of paper. We'll probably have to edit it later, but it's easy to change the size of the canvas later. So we'll create a canvas to work on. Now, if we remember, this is where we want to get to. So basically, this is a lot like making a scrapbook or a collage. We need to go out and get a bunch of stuff to paste in to the document here, and then organize it in the right way. That's in broad brushstrokes terms what you're trying to do with a lot of these projects in either Pixlr or Photoshop. So first thing we need to do, so we don't forget, is create a new layer. rename the layer later, but this way, everything that every item that we add starts getting added as a new layer. It's much easier to work with everything when you create a new layer for every additional element that you add to a Photoshop project. And again, every time I say Photoshop, 90% of this applies the exact same way with Pixar as well. So what we need to do is go get a bunch of stuff to put into our collage, or to our scrapbook, basically. And as I mentioned in class, one of the best ways to go get stuff to put into a collage on Photoshop is just to go to Google Images. So we go to Google and then click on Images. And if for some reason you don't have the navigation bar that says Images there, if you just type in images.google.com, that'll also bring you to Google Images. But many of you, because of your Gmail settings, your Google Drive settings, will already have an option up here that allows you to go to Google Images. If you don't, however, just type in images.google.com. So the first picture up here at the top was a picture of the Condors logo. So if we just simply go in and type Bakersfield Condors, there's a gazillion pictures here that we can download and use. I will get in a future lecture, either in class or on a webinar, I will explain more how you can tell in these pictures which ones are public domain and which ones actually you will eventually have to sign a licensing agreement for. Right now, to get started, just choose whatever picture you think works best, and we'll get to a separate lecture on the licensing behind this. Many things that are on Google Images are in the public domain, not private. So what you're going to do, I think this is the one that I used. You click on the image that you like, you then click View Image, right-click on it, or whatever Mac users do for right-clicking, and Save Image As. And I've already gone and saved many of these before, so they're all saved in a folder that I created on my Management 645 drive here called Podcast Prep Materials. So wherever you're going to save something on your local drive, just remember where you saved it and gather up all of these different pictures that you need. That's one example of how I found the Condors picture. Everything else that you see in this picture, I either downloaded from Google Images or I did as a screenshot. So, just real quickly, this example of an email from the Condors, this example of the AHL brochure from the Condors are screenshots. These arrows, the team logo, the little talking person logo, those are actually all things that I got from Google Images. I just typed in curved arrow, for example, to find the arrow. I typed two-way arrow to find this one. Almost all of the images that I have in here I can find on Google Images. The ones that I couldn't find on Google Images, like this example of the email which contains the social media addresses for the Condors. It's kind of hard to see what it is, but that's what it is. I simply went to the printout of the document that I made, the PDF document of the Condors document, open that document, and then on my laptop, it's you hold down the function key and then type print screens. It's the end button, but basically function on my laptop's keyboard is in blue, and then any other key that has blue writing on it, if you hold down the function key and then hit that button, it'll do what the blue words on the button say. So on my laptop, to do a screenshot, you do function print screen. It's different on different types of laptops. Hopefully most of you know how to do a screenshot. If you don't, I can do a separate podcast eventually on all the different major hardware types and how to do a screenshot, or we can just have meetings in the office hours one way or the other. Anyway, once you have clicked the right buttons on your machine to get a screenshot, just go back to Photoshop, open a new document, and once you've done the screenshot, Photoshop actually recognizes the size of the picture that you did a screenshot of. So you just click OK. That's exactly the size of canvas you need. You click Control V to paste, and the screenshot that I just made is in here. Then we just need to crop that picture so we just have the email and nothing else. So you're going to click the little button that has the cross hatching right angles, highlight what you want to crop, and then just hit enter, and that creates a document. Then you're just going to save that as not a Photoshop document. You're going to save it as a JPEG file. Sometimes you may want to save as a PNG file or other type. Default option, when in doubt, save as a JPEG file. Then I just went into podcast prep materials. I called this Condor's social media, and I saved it. So once you've done using Photoshop for creating the screenshot document, just go up here. This is where all your different windows, different projects in Photoshop are. You can just close that project, and you don't need to save the Photoshop document. You just need to use Photoshop to create a JPEG in this case. So close that. Then we're back here at the canvas. So once we have gathered all of the different items that we need for the canvas, we're going to start putting them into the canvas and then organizing them. A real easy way to put things into your canvas is simply go to wherever it is that you have all the documents saved. Make that window a little smaller so that you can have Photoshop and the Windows Explorer or the file navigator in your Mac open at the same time. And just pull the document, drag and drop it into Photoshop. And then the Condor's document is here, and the Condor's picture is here. If for some reason you need to rotate it, if you move your mouse outside the document to where you have little curved arrows, you can rotate the entire picture whichever way you want. We don't want to rotate this. We do, however, want to make it a little smaller. So just grab the edge of the document, click with your left mouse button, and then pull on your mouse to either make it bigger or smaller. Once you've got it to about the right size, stop moving the mouse, let go of the left mouse button, and just click enter. And you've got your document. You'll see that is now in this layer with the Condors. And if we want it at the top of the document, so if we've got this little arrow with the crosshatch pattern on it, that allows us to grab, so just push the left mouse button again and move the mouse, and you can move that item to wherever you want it to be on the screen. You're going to do the same thing for every different item that you want. So the Condor's social media, I put that in and resize it. You'll see that automatically was created in this layer. Then I can move it, etc., etc., etc. Once I have dragged and dropped every single one of these pieces of content that I want in my project, the project is going to look like a bunch of different individual layers like this. I'm going to go ahead and close this document now and open the document that the finished project basically that I created over the course of the weekend. So if we go in and open up, this is the finished project that I created for the document. So you'll notice here there's a couple of things that are not drag and drop. The words where I describe each step of this process. So if we zoom in, you can view the words and items in the canvas a little better. You'll notice I put a description of what happens at each stage in this process. Determining marketing message, doing initial outreach, developing customer vignettes, all the way down. Those words were actually added by going over here to the little T, clicking on that T, putting it wherever I wanted it, and then typing track, nope, and make the font size bigger first. So it's kind of funky to change the size of text once you've already started typing it. So better to go in and change to the size you want before you start typing track and position. You're just going to type what you want and then click enter, and that'll create those words in there. And you'll see it's a new, each of the things that you put on this canvas is an individual item in this right-hand window here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that later because I already have it there, but that's how you create it. If you right-click, there's a bunch of different ways to delete things. You can either right-click and go to delete layer. Even faster is to just take the layer, click with your left mouse button, drag it over to the little garbage can, and drop it in the garbage can. So now you'll notice all these items that we wanted are in the canvas. And now we want to organize the items together so that we can put them, we can move them more easily. So originally, there were a bunch of individual layers that looked like this. I took those layers and just simply held the control button down and left-clicked on each of them with my mouse. And then, if I highlighted what I want and I go to Layer and Group Layers, so this is basically going to take the curved arrows and the develop customer vignette words and it groups them together. So you'll notice if I click Group Layers and then I've highlighted that group so that I've just created a new group. We can call it new name just by double clicking on the layer. You'll notice if I move it, it moves all three of those items together. You'll notice here I've created folders for each of the different groups of items here on this canvas. So if you look, the word of mouth, WOM items, if I just highlight that folder once I've grouped these items, I can move the entire group together. And this makes it much easier to arrange your canvas visually. So all of that being the case, once you're finally done with the document, you go to File, Save As, not Save. So Save is going to save this as a project in Photoshop. What you actually want the document to save as is either a JPEG or a PNG document. I would suggest saving as a PNG in many cases because if you save as a JPEG, it will save a standard sort of default white background behind things unless you've designated another background. And we don't want a background. We want all these items to go onto whatever background we eventually put them in on a website. So if you save it as a PNG file, that actually creates just a file with these individual images and no background. You'll notice here if there's a checkerboard pattern in Photoshop, it means that there's no embedded background. Unfortunately, when you save as a JPEG format puts in a background as a default. So if you don't want a background as a default, you need to save as a PNG file. Once you have saved as a PNG file, that brings us to webinar topic number 2, which I will go into at a later date, and that is how to then take these images, upload them into either social media or a website or wherever else you want them, so that they are eventually sitting in a viewable online format like it is here on the website. But that we will get to in another webinar. For now, I'm going to conclude today's webinar and record it hopefully in time for class. See you all later.
Okay, so just a couple of additional things that I want to point out after going through that webinar. So there's 2 types of software that you can use for graphic design. And one of the skill sets that I want everybody in here to be able to do is to create, in effect, a digital collage of pictures and words describing your project that you're working on. Okay? So Photoshop, you can download a free 30-day trial version just by going to Google and typing in Adobe Photoshop free download. You can also rent it for about $19.95 a month on an ongoing basis. There's also a free software that I like to use called Pixlr. So if you go to www.pixlr.com, this has almost the same functionality as as Photoshop. There's a couple of differences that I want to point out to you first before we move on. So if you go here, let me go back. This is what the website looks like when you when you first come to it. If you scroll down slightly, you'll get to a place where it says Pixlr Editor. You're going to click on Launch Web App from there, and then depending on what you want to do, you can either create a new image or open one from your computer if you've already been working on it and saved it earlier. So if I create a new image now, there's 2 things that are a little bit different. First of all, layers work exactly the same way, but the way that you group layers together is a little bit different. So I'm going to create a new layer here, and the other thing that's different is how you import pictures. When you go out and gather all your stuff on Google Images, you can't actually drag and drop it into Pixlr. So I've got some materials here that I use for the same materials that I use for the Photoshop webinar. I've got here on a thumb drive, and the way that you actually get those images is by opening the files. So we go to File, Open Image, and then go to wherever the image is saved. And you're going to click on this little dotted line icon and highlight the picture, and then hit Control-C to copy it, and Control-V to paste it into your new layer. So then you can move it around just like you would in Photoshop. And in order to group layers together, so let me go in and open up another image. So we've got these two images both on the we need to increase the size of the canvas a little bit here. There we go. So we've got these two images in here. In order to group them together, you go up to Layer and move down or merge down. Okay? So if you merge down, now you'll notice these two images are grouped together. So slightly different way that you import images into Pixlr and the way that you group layers in Pixlr. Otherwise, everything that we just watched in that webinar is pretty much the same way that Pixlr works. So that was webinar number 1. I got one more for you guys to watch, and then we can get set up for the hands-on exercise that we're going to do on Wednesday. So webinar number 2.
Do they have Photoshop in the computers downstairs?
I believe there's like a creative computer. It's not every computer in the library that has Photoshop. There's one specific computer that has Photoshop and Dreamweaver and all those things on it, but it's a particular computer. James would know where it is.
Okay.
What's that?
I have something I want to say about Photoshop.
Yes, go ahead.
During the resizing, if you hold Shift while
Nicholas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So if you hold Shift while you're resizing, you maintain the aspect ratio of the image, so you don't accidentally deform it.
Ooh, nice. Nice, I didn't realize that. So you got to hit Shift while you're resizing?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Good point for everybody else in here to know too. If you're resizing images in Photoshop, if you hit Shift, it'll maintain all the proportions in the picture as you make it smaller or bigger. Cool. Thanks, Nicholas.
No problem.
So I'm going to skip the webinar on Dreamweaver, which is important for you to know for the test that we have in here at the end of the semester, but not really important for getting started with the exercise this week. So I'm going to go to the webinar on Wix here. We're going to watch that, and then we're going to get set up for our hands-on activity for Wednesday.
So this is the third of my webinars. This one is on using Wix to create a website. So the second webinar was on using Dreamweaver, which is a more robust tool for creating websites, but you need to have a little bit of skill and understanding of how websites are laid out in order to really use Dreamweaver effectively. If you're kind of a novice to website development, then Wix has great professional-looking templates that allow you to create a really good looking website in a very short amount of time. And it's completely free to create the basic website. Now, if you want your own domain name and you want to purchase web hosting and so forth, there's some upgrade costs, but those costs are in the, some of them start less than $10 a month. It's really quite affordable. So we're starting here at the www.wix.com website, and the first thing you need to do is sign in. If you don't have an account, then you're going to need to create one. Excuse me, I already have one, so we're going to just go right ahead to my account. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is choose a template for your website. So if you click on Templates and just scroll down, you'll notice on the left-hand side here, there's all kinds of categories of templates, so businesses, online stores, photography studios, restaurants, health and wellness, pretty much any area you could imagine. So if we just click on business here, as an example, if you're creating a site for a law firm or a staffing agency, you can pretty much choose any kind of template you want, and at least get close to the kind of firm you're going to want. Now, it may not be exactly the kind of business you're working on, because there's a lot of different types of businesses in this world, and you may have a very niche type of business or a project that you're working on. But you'll notice here there's 9 different pages of templates just for business websites, and then you'll notice all these other areas too. So choose a template. Excuse me. Once you've done that, I'm going to go back to my account page here. Once you've done that, you're going to have the site in editable mode here on your My Sites login page. You'll notice over the course of time I've created several different test sites. I'm going to open up this test beauty shop site that I created most recently and go through several things about how to edit the site. So, excuse me, you can either click on Edit Site or Manage Site to go in, and Manage Site, of course, will then again ask you to edit site. So if you click on Edit Site, it's going to open the Wix editor. And the Wix editor looks pretty much like this. So the main concept to keep in mind with Wix is clicking on, you want to click on whatever it is that you want to edit. So if we want to edit this menu, for example, if you left click on it, you'll get these options up here. If you right click on it, you'll get a menu that looks like this, which basically contains the exact same options. So you can either left click or right click. Once you've done that, I'm going to show you a couple things that you can do with the menu here. So if you click on Manage Menu, you'll notice each of the pages that are in that menu are listed here, one after the other. So, excuse me. If we want to change the name of a page, for example, we just go down to the appropriate page and click on the little options list on the right-hand side here. And we've got various options for the page, one of which is rename. So if we go, how great we are, or how great IO UD is, and click done, you'll notice that the name of the page has changed in the menu, and excuse me, if we then I'm going to keep left clicking instead of right clicking, but they basically pull up the same options. If we then go to navigate and go to any other page, the home page, the contact page, you'll notice that, excuse me, that menu is the same on each page, and just by editing the name in one place, we've changed the name of the page on the entire website. So that's how you can change the names of the various pages that your website consists of. If we want to add a page that's not in there right now, so maybe we want to have a page about a gallery of products. So you can just go add page, and we're going to go to page, and we're going to call this page gallery, and then click done, and you'll notice the page gallery has been added. And if we go back, right click, now I want to left click. So if we go back to navigate, you'll notice gallery is now in the list. If we go to investor information or back to the home page, gallery has now been included in all of the menu, all the menus on every page of the website. So one more thing I want to show here with editing the menu is how to delete a page. So since we just created that gallery page, let's go ahead and go back and delete it. If you just click on the options to the right again, left click on that, there's an option down here at the bottom to delete a page. So if we do that, delete, that'll take the page back out. This gallery is not there anymore. It takes the page back out of the menu. So, you're starting out with the templates. The template probably has some pages that you're going to want to use, other pages that you don't want to use. You can easily just go in, delete the pages you didn't want to use. If you have some pages that were not in the template that you wanted to include, just go in and add them. And that allows you to very quickly and easily edit the basic structure of your website. Okay, so now that we have gone over editing the menu, excuse me, I want to go over editing a few other elements of the screen here. The next element of the page here that I'd like to go over editing is the logo up here at the top. If you notice, you can left click on the logo itself, and if you then double click, you can actually highlight the text. You notice here, this is actually in a particular 70-point Sacramento font style, and then below here is in 25-point basic font style. And if we wanted, for example, to change this logo at the top, you simply type with your keyboard whatever you wanted to put there instead. And if you want to change the font, you can just go in here and move that to some other font. A whole bunch of other things you can do. The formatting pretty much the same as any word processing software. So that is how you edit basically a text box. This may look like a logo, but that B is actually just a very large size Sacramento font. If I went in and type F instead, or R, it's actually not a logo, it's just a very large size font. So that's how you edit that element. If we then go and take a look at how to edit images, for example, again, if you just left click on the image, it gives you the opportunity to change images. If you want to make this a different image, we could, let's see, what is it right now? I believe it's that, let's bring in this, like, soap products. If we do that and click done, it's going to change this image. Okay, this is actually, these are gallery images. I should pay attention to what I'm doing. So we're going to click on the item we want and then click Replace Image. So once we do that, this is a picture that I brought in to use as an example of me and my brother-in-law's father at my sister's wedding drinking Guinness when I used to have long hair, wearing a kilt. We just click Done then. You'll notice that the picture didn't change. Why is that? So we're going to move this up to the front. There we go. Then you'll notice that the image has changed. Moving on, if you then click on this circle, you'll notice there's actually, you can click on the circle or you can click on the text. The text is simply a text box. Just like before, if we double click and highlight the text, we can edit what's in the words there. And if we wanted to edit the shape, to give it another shape, we can actually left click on the green shape itself and click on Change Design. We want to make it like a square instead of a circle, and if we actually wanted to change the color, we can either change it here, or if we go to Custom Design, and then Fill Colors, that is going to change the color of the background. There we go. So now we can come down and choose all kinds of other colors and shapes to put there as well. So that is going to allow you to change the different types of boxes that you've got. That brings it back to the circle again. If we wanted to make it a square, or drag it down and make it whatever design we want, basically. You can change those all here. Next, if we actually didn't want this picture here, if we wanted to maybe write some text there instead, we simply left click to highlight the picture and hit backspace, and that'll delete the picture. And then if we wanted to add some text, you just go to this Add icon on the left-hand side, and we can click on different types of text. So you're going to go in here and choose which type of font you want for the inserted text. We're just going to use standard paragraph format here. So highlight that, and then if we grab the text box and pull it with the mouse, then we can actually move the text to where we want it. And then we double click, we can actually go in and change the font and type whatever we want in this box. So that's how you add elements. If you actually wanted to add some other kind of element, you can also just go over, left click on the Add button. This gives you a chance to add text, images. You can actually put in a new gallery which will rotate out pictures one after the other instead of just a single picture. You can put in buttons, boxes, scripts, videos, anything you want. Like just go in here, click on the plus button, and that will allow you to enter almost any element you want into the page of the site. Let's go ahead and get out of there. The next thing I want to talk about is how to edit the background information. So instead of clicking on one of the images, so either the logo or the menu or the text box or formerly the picture that was here, if you left click on the background instead, you can go in and change the header design. So we can actually put a no color, which then just removes that dark brown and leaves the underlying cover of color of the website. We can also scroll down and choose other custom headers that are there. So, here's one that's blue and green, for example, instead of the brown theme. If we then also wanted to go to custom design, we can go to borders and corners, and or we can also go to the fill color. Any of these things here, both the borders as well as the fill color and opacity give you access to the color palette here. So if we wanted to change what's on the background of the header, then we can just left click on the color button there and change it to something we like better. So all kinds of different colors here. You can add a color. In another webinar some other day, we get into the actual codes for colors. There's only so many default colors that are offered in the editor, but if you know the exact code number, this pound and then 6 character number, that will tell you exactly the shade of the color you want. So that allows you to change the outside. This one here allows you to change the inside. So all you got to do is left click on the area you want to change, and you can change the background colors as well. So and then finally, if we want to change the entire background of the website, you're going to left click outside here and change page design. So this is currently the color we're using. There's another color there. No color, that actually gives us just background color. If we want to customize the design, we can go in here and change various things, so forth and so on. So if we wanted to change the shading slightly, there's different nuances of what's in the middle here. So you can change pretty much anything you want there on the page design. And if you want to change the background, so the outside color instead of the inside color, you're going to click on change page. Well, you're going to click at the left here, and then instead of page design, you're going to click page background. And that allows you to change the background to a different color. Or, if you want, you could actually put an image in the background. And there's this actually, put those bananas in the background now. So if we close that and come back here to change the header, and for example, take out the colors in the header, and you can see those bananas coming up in the background. And then if we go in here and change the page design to take out that brown too, you'll notice that the underlying background is now that image of bananas. So that's the basics of the object-oriented click and edit functions. I do want to point out briefly what the various menu options do. So this first button here basically is another way to get at the editing for the background. It's pretty much the same as if you left click and click on a page background. You can also do the same thing and click here. This plus pad button, like I mentioned, allows you to add pretty much any kind of element you want to the site. This is a really nice button here that allows you to add various apps to the site. It's already set up so you don't have to sort of reinvent the wheel yourself. So if you want to add a blog or a chat app or some different ways of like new trending information, or way back at the very top of here was sort of must-haves. So if you click on here, that'll, you can put in a comments area or a like thumb for Facebook. There's all kinds of apps that you can add just at one click rather than having to go to the app site, download the button from the individual app site or store and then bring it back and put it on your website. It's all at your fingertips here for Wix. So moving on down, if you choose this actually allows you to kind of manage the various files that you've uploaded to the site. So you can actually upload documents or pictures, whatever you want. You can put these, basically, this allows you to upload pictures to the file folder in the website. They're not going to show up anywhere, but it allows you to upload them and sort of have them at the ready. Like if you want to insert a picture or music or a document of some kind, it has to actually be stored in the folders behind the website before you can attach it to something in the website. So this allows you to upload your files from your local drive to the website, and then after that, you can then attach those files to the website so that they show up visually for people to navigate. This is actually a separate button to allow you to start a blog. You can also add that through the app market. This My Store, as well as promotes a little bit different. My Store is also another way of, you can choose the store option through the app market or click directly here, and then promote actually gives you a bunch of options for pushing out your website to various people with a blast email and kind of sets up the whole blast email for you. So these buttons here are really just Wix putting at your disposal some of the more popular apps rather than you having to go look for them in the app market. And then finally, I want to point out briefly on the site menu here, Save, kind of like it suggests, allows you to save all the edits that you've been making to your site. If you don't save them and you close the window or your browser crashes for some reason and you lose all the edits that you made. Very important is Publish, which you can either go to from the site menu or over here at the side. Save is also available for you over at the side. You can't actually see anything that you've edited here until you click Publish. As soon as you click Publish, that actually puts everything out on the internet. And right here, this gives you the address of the site. So you can then use that link in various emails that you send out, and so forth and so on. And then if you decide that you don't want to have your site called yourname.wix.com/name of site, if you want to have your own domain name like beautysalon2000.com, then Wix gives you the opportunity to do that through an upgrade. There's also plenty of other vendors out there that will sell you a domain name and offer you web hosting without you having to buy it through Wix. But Wix offers pretty good prices, so there's not really it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other where you buy your domain name and your web hosting. So that's the Publish option. I also mentioned the Connect Domain option. There's Connect Domain. If you click here, that offers you the exact same options that you got in the bottom half of the Publish box here. And then finally, your Upgrade and Mobile Editor. Upgrade gives you the opportunity to buy all kind of additional upgrade services from Wix, many of which are quite useful. So if you click on there, gives you different packages that your domain name, advertising vouchers that you can basically use to push out blast emails, access to certain apps that cost extra money that you get for a discounted price, etc., etc. So this kind of gives you the opportunity to make various upgrade purchases, many of which are very cheap and quite valuable and useful and working in And then finally, I want to point out the mobile editor. The default option is that you're creating a website to be viewed on a laptop or a desktop. Because of the size and other hardware specifications of a mobile phone, websites look different on a mobile phone than they do on a desktop or a laptop. And if you want to make sure you can see what your site looks like on a mobile phone, this is actually the opportunity for you to see what it looks like on a mobile phone and then edit in mobile phone format rather than in laptop format. So desktop goes back to normal mode, and that brings us to the end of my little webinar on Wix. There are plenty of other tools out there, webinars that are made by other people, and the help function is great on Wix here as well. There's plenty more to learn about this tool, but what I just taught you gives you a lot of the basics of how to get up and running and creating a professional-looking website using Wix.
Okay, so thank you guys for bearing with me on that. That's kind of the ante that you have to pay to get into the game of website development. So with the time we have left, I'd like you to do one thing kind of preparing for Wednesday, or two things. I want you to go into Wix.com and open up an account for yourself. And then I also want you to either go to Google and download the free trial version of Photoshop, or go to Pixlr.com and make sure that you can open up the software on your machine. We're going to use both of those during the exercise on Wednesday. And the exercise on Wednesday is kind of twofold. I want everybody in here to get some skill and experience in doing this website development. But then as a group, you're going to focus on just one website for your project. Okay, so everybody's going to be doing this exercise for the Wednesday class session, but afterwards you're going to focus as a group on just building one website for your project. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So check things out, make sure they work. Yes, Carson, right?
Yes, with the group, since we all will have our own passwords and emails for Wix, do you want us to make one main account for all four of us to be able to log on into whenever we're not together?
Yes.
Okay.
You could either create a separate account for all of you, or you can just decide which one of you has the main account.
Okay. I already have it. Mine's from my shop, so we'll use yours. Design and television was
We need drag and drop.
What's that?
Drag and drop.
Well, that's pretty much what.
but you don't want the one where you have to type in the code yourself. That's not.
What's that?
The web development where you have to like type in all the codes for it for yourself. That's not the one. You want the regular one.
Strategic consultant.
They have these, but
Yes, AV. Sorry, I see a hand. Hang on 1 second. Folks in Bakersfield, quiet for a second so I can hear AV. Sorry, say again?
Okay, for Wednesday, we are to open a Wix account or go to Google and be able to open Photoshop, or what are we doing with Pixlr?
So there's two things. One, open an account with Wix. We're going to use that on Wednesday to start building a website. And either download the free version of Photoshop or open up Pixlr and make sure it works on your computer. So Pixlr and Photoshop are graphic design software. Wix is a program for making websites. So you need one of each. Does that make sense, Milton?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Contact group.
Mm-hmm.
It's permanent.
I thought it was you and Abdul Rahman.
Yeah.
The Vikas app group?
The last group.
Yeah, the one in the back.
Yeah.
So that means we will move you to another group.
Yeah.
What group would you prefer to be in?
I don't know which subject.
Well, we've got space in the edible garden group.
Okay.
We've got space in the same group that Abdul Rahman's in. We've got space in the Tejon Ranch group. Yeah, that's it's a nature preserve. So the edible garden is it's a garden here on campus that we're building with food that we're going to grow. And Tejon Ranch is a nature preserve that's up in the mountains, and we're building an app that is going to let people be able to visit remotely through their phones. You moved that group back in the back, right? To the Vikas app group?
Yeah, okay. So we'll go with that.
Is that? Yeah, okay.
I don't want to have to put something
You don't have to go to the mountains to work on this.
Okay.
Either that or the garden.
I'll go with that one.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Who's my group?
What's that? These are the other members of the team. Yeah. Mashari's going to be on the Tejon Ranch team too. Yes. You are. Nate, don't.
Sorry.
I made this map so I can memorize everybody's face of parents. Yes, I knew that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be here on Wednesday.
Yeah, I won't be here on Wednesday.
Okay.
Did you want me to do like a online?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. That'd be a good idea. Cool. Good
So
deal.
you're sending us contacts, right?
Contacts.
That we need to get in touch with. Or are we using the same one from last semester?
No, we're going to use names.
Okay. And you're giving us
Yes,
Okay.
but that's not till next week.
Wait, next week. Okay. I was just making sure.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
You did it there?
Hey, AV? Was Lily there today?
I'm not sure what it's supposed to do.
Is she still taking the class?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. We still have to assign her to a group whenever she shows up again.
Okay.
Sam, what's up?
I'm just curious, so we have Wix accounts from last semester, but so a Pixlr account's probably better for me if I'm not going to use this past the point of getting like a year subscription for Photoshop, or Pixlr works fine.
Pixlr is cheaper.
Oh, it costs $2?
No.
Oh.
Pixlr's free. They're both free, but Photoshop wants you to buy eventually.
Gives you like a trial.
Pixlr has no desire for you to buy anything.
Okay, that's what he was saying. So he was saying
Pixlr is a little bit harder to use than Photoshop. Photoshop's better software. So it's up to you. And you will not get any prompts to buy things if you use Pixlr.
Okay, and then for the sake of next class, we're just planning with the 2 accounts and our laptops, and then for our group, being that we have the website, you mentioned in the email about letting them know and having them have the password and account so they can get on, that's fine. But then, so are we just going to continue progressing ours? Or what is your plan of action?
Both.
Okay.
So for the project, I want you guys to build out the website some more. For class on Wednesday, I just want everybody to get some practice using the
So
software.
we don't have to use our
No, you can create something random.
For sure. Just making sure if that's what
Makes
we need.
sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
You want me to get an answer for this class? This one, the other one, this one?
Yeah, because I think you're still registered in the other one. So get an ad slip, bring it by, and we'll drop you from that one and add you to this one. Cool. I saw the email. That was a great progress report email. Thanks.
I was like, hey, No, I think, did you get the email? Yes, you said, I'm talking about my mom, yeah. So I ended up emailing her again, so I said, like, if you open your junk drawer, I'll email you again. That way it's on the top of your junk drawer, if it's there, but then I CC them on it. Yeah, tell me about that way he has kind of. I know. David, funny talk.